and don't know shit.
And we are rolling.
We're rolling.
Here we are.
Damn.
Welcome to Quick Came and Don't Know Shit.
Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Dom Castelli. I've known Dom Castelli since about 1997, if my memory serves me right, which usually it doesn't. Like, seriously.
97 sounds about right.
Yeah. I was new in Montreal, and I had dreams of playing some music. And you were one of the people that I reached out to within the first year. I reached out to you. And at that point, you were running a venue called the Jailhouse Rock Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
And you were so open and made me, like, I was so nervous to call, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you, like, you know, start something, it's like new challenge, put yourself in front of people, you know? But you were so welcoming, and you're just like, yeah, man, I got space for you, come on down. And I have a feeling that you probably are one of the people in Montreal that started off the most musical careers.
I don't know about that.
Well,
can't confirm that.
And this is why I say this. The Jailhouse ran for how many years?
Itself, the venue ran about maybe from 89, 88.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was a terrace. And then from almost 10, 11 years of shows, basically, at the Jailhouse Rock.
That's 7 nights a week?
7 nights a week, about 3 bands a night.
Yeah. So you know, somebody else do the math for me.
Get your calculator out.
And, I mean, you had touring bands from out of town all the time. And you had so many locals do shows with these touring bands. Or, you know, once they, you know, were around long enough, they headlined their own shows. And that's why I say you gave a shot to so many bands, so many people I know. I remember seeing Bloodshot Bill for the first time ever.
Oh, Bleeding Gums.
Right? But, I mean... Now, I mean, this man tours the world. But without people like you to help kickstart all these fantastic bands, a lot of this stuff might not have happened. I know in my case it might not have happened. And, you know, from there and, you know, building up confidence through playing the Jailhouse, I probably played there at least 25 times.
A bit more than that. We have the records of how many times you played there. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then after the Jailhouse, you moved on to the Jupiter Room, and you had shows there all the time as well. I'm not sure how many years you had the Jupiter Room running there.
I didn't stay long at the Jupiter Room.
No.
I left after 6 to 8 months, I think it was.
Okay, is that it? Yeah. But my whole point is that you were involved in the music scene like so much in that period of time. And the plateau was hopping in those days. I mean, it's still hopping today, but it was, you know, hopping to a different hop. But, I mean, everybody in town knew who you were, knew that they could call you for a lot of things, including sometimes just advice.
Yeah, I got quite a few calls from people asking for advice, how to get things done. Mm-hmm. And I helped, I helped a lot of bands, and a lot of bands get somewhere. I mean, before I had the Jailhouse Rock, I had Chimney Sweep Productions, where I was booking bands with Jesse Rads, and before that I was DJing, you know, just music.
Jesse Rads being the trumpet player in the Kingpins.
Yeah.
And also a good friend of ours.
Yeah, a very good friend of mine. Yeah, good guy, good artist. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was a hell of a road. And I have no regrets, but things could have been different in some cases.
Absolutely. I mean, you know the old cliche of hindsight is 20/20 and all that kind of thing. I mean, it is a bit of a chaos life for sure. You know?
It was fantastic. Yeah, it's really crazy, wild. I mean, basically, I had a blank pad, and people like my brother, for example, gave me the opportunity to. I mean, he's the one that said it. Well, there's your board. It's empty. Go fill it.
And fill it, you did.
He bought the bar. My brother paid for that bar and paid me part owner, and I did what I could for the Jailhouse Rock, and it was coming from the heart, 100%. I believed in people like you, and I see you, and I see your eyes, and how you really want to go somewhere, and it's like, well, all I have is this. Yeah. And I don't have nothing else to help you with this, but there, go for it. Let's see where it goes.
But that was huge, because, like, at that venue at the time, I mean, when I say the plateau was hopping back then, we had multi-musical venues. You know, there's definitely less today than there are. You know, it's a different thing. You got the club scene going on and all the bumping and the grinding and all that. But back then on the plateau, you know, whether you were playing in the venues, you know, whether it was like Cafe Campus, the Jailhouse, Jupiter, whatever, all these great places, even the Monkey Room and what other venues?
Oh, the Monkey House on Roy Street, which is now a meat place.
Right.
The Monkey House. Well, the Space Shits, they would do a lot of interesting shows. They would, you know, take over a Pizza House or the Monkey House. I saw that show. That was insane.
That's so punk rock. I love it.
God, those guys were You guys are a handful, I'll tell you that much. And a lot of bands, a lot of people used to do a lot of stuff in Montreal. It was pretty creative. We had free reign because there's no control. There's no, if you have an idea, let's go into loft. We'll do a loft party. Then the police got involved, and then all hell breaks loose, you know. And okay, well, I guess we have to find a garage because everything was abandoned and nothing cost nothing back in the day. And we had things like the Jailhouse Rock because it was cheap. I think we were charging up until 2001 $75 for 3 bands.
That's wild.
You know, and my brother is like, don't charge more because the band's got to make it. And I was like, that's a good idea, but we need to make money to stay open. Yeah, but it's gonna work this way. It's like, okay then, you know. And it's like, it was awesome. It was awesome because I was able to meet so many people, so many bands. And at that time in life in the Plateau, it was near chaos because everything was empty, dead. But we had like after hours that were open up on top of the Jailhouse Rock. I mean,
and how many nights did we finish at the Miami back in the day?
I mean, how many bars did we stay in that were locked until 6 o'clock in the morning? You know, it's like, you know.
I feel so privileged, and I'm probably still hurting from it as well. But like to have come up in that period of time, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't exist in Montreal right now. It's not saying, I'm not saying it's better or worse, but there was something magical in the Montreal music scene in those years, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's magical because we're building it. I mean, I can't say the same thing. It was tough. It was tough for me to build what I tried to build, and it was very, very, very difficult. And it was a very lonely job on my end.
Yeah.
You had a lot on your shoulder every day, nonstop, and just to make a band get somewhere is a lot of work. And you know that because you're in a band, K-Man. And back in those days, I had a lot of people that were busting my balls, for one reason or not. I mean, I'll never forget a couple of punk rock bands thought they were righteous enough to drink beer from the depanneur, not inside the bar, but just across, on a street corner. I was like, dude, we stay open by beer sales only, man. Yeah, but what? We're not here. You're not here. What's the deal? It was a difficult job. I mean, sure, I can speak about glory, but there was no glory. It was a lot of money got invested. My brother lost thousands of dollars on this gig. I'm talking about 35, but he was a good man. He was a good boy, and he was a tough guy to work with too. Holy shit, was he tough?
He light a fire, huh?
I love my brother. Don't get me wrong, man. He's a good man, and But those days it was tough and it was wild, but it had some good times and bad times.
Absolutely, but I mean, it's interesting to get your perspective on it because, like, I mean, in a way, with having that type of role, of course, you're just eating shit all the time, right? Everything that's wrong, but nobody ever says, "Oh, this is great," right? I mean, of course, you get some nice people, and you make lifelong friends and this type of thing. There is good things that come with it. But I understand when you say, like, people are coming down with all the problems, right?
yeah, I mean, booking bands is a tough job. It's not for the faint of heart or oversensitive like I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it was happy. I'm always happy to see when a band like yourself goes forward and gets something done. Bleeding Guns, Little Andy. I'm always happy when someone still talks about the Super Sucker show that just blew out of the water. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I'm accomplished. I had a moment in my life to do something on my own, and I had no idea it doesn't last forever. No clue, but now I do. And
but you lived that moment hard, man. I know, 'cause for a while we even lived together. That's something not everybody knows. For probably 9 months or something like that of total chaos.
I don't want to
I know what he wants to say, and he's not going to say it, and I'm going to say thank you for not saying it. Because the neighbors be banging on the wall, man.
I was all right. I was all right being your roommate. It was cool.
Yeah, man.
It was cool.
It was a magical time. It really was for me, anyway. I was having a good old time, man. Just bouncing around Plateau and those. I was working night shifts only a couple of nights a week at that point, so I had a lot of free time, And it was a great ways to get plugged in. And you mentioned a few bands already. But I mean, the number of bands that are absolutely famous are huge now.
There's a lot more we booked.
Yeah.
Flaming Lips, I think they played at Jailhouse once to all of 4 people.
Well, that's it. Because, it was a mid-sized venue, which is really interesting place. Because often I think you get the bands that are, moving up You know what I mean? You might get a band like the Flaming Lips that, they're moving up. So you get to see them before they've really exploded.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was cool for that, and people who are in it now and really knew what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Problem was, not that many people knew.
That's right. Somebody else profited off your work.
I mean, I'll never forget when the roadie comes up. It's like, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to charge a promoter. It's like, I'm the promoter.
That's it, eh?
Well, you owe me another $700. Like, I just gave you $2,000. It's like, well, that's what it is. You know, but, I mean, it's a fascinating lifestyle. I loved it. You know, It was good. It was hard work, but it was good. It was good for me and my soul.
What bands do you remember that went through that, like, became bigger after? Do any jump to mind? You know, like when you had them in
K-Man and 45.
There you go.
Well, the Planet Smashers, they did really well.
Yeah.
Until they kicked me off their label that I created with them. Not being negative or nothing, but they were doing pretty good until they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Kingpins did really well until they stopped coming because someone charged them $1 for ice. This is a true story.
Really?
About it. Yeah, it's a true story.
So somebody pocketed $1 along the way there.
Yeah, unbelievable. Let's see. There's a lot more. What's her name? Oh, Jesus. Cat Power.
Oh, right.
She came by and played the show. She was lovely. A lovely person. And they just blew it out of the water.
Really, yeah.
Gob came by a few times and they played there. I think they lived there for a little while.
Wouldn't surprise me. What's that old joke? How do you know if you had a punk come over to visit? He's still there.
Hey! Sounds like for drummers and guitar players and singers and everything else.
Yeah,
backup singers.
I saw so many epic shows there, though, with Dave Cooper or Alex behind the board, and everybody just hanging out and having a good old time. I remember the Slackers played an incredible show there.
They played the Hi-Hats played there. I think the Toasters never played there, no. I got a whole book of posters at home that's ready to go soon.
Yeah, I heard a rumor about this. This was on my list of,
questions
things
with
to talk
Dom.
about. Well, absolutely, man. I mean, when I asked Dom to be on the show, he's like, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, dude, it's more like, what aren't we going to talk about?
I know, right?
You got so much going on all the time, and this is one of the things that I think, people know right away when they think of you. You're a man of adventure, starting projects, going all over, which I will get into, but right now, looking in hindsight on all these venues and, at the Jailhouse legacy, really, I guess is what we're talking about here. But I mean, you're talking about making a book because there are all these crazy events that happen there.
Mm-hmm. I spent about 15 years collecting every poster I can find. I found them all, I think. I'm not finding any more.
Mm-hmm.
And the book's been in an 8.5 by 14 format, and I made it myself. And I'm just waiting to finish it with words. And a very good friend of mine, Jackie, said, Dom, it's not about you, it's about the posters and the shows there. I was like, that's a good idea.
That's good angle.
So I'm keeping it simple, because there's so much you can talk about. Like, I can talk about CDs and cassettes and all kinds of shit, but these posters are remnants of, basically, like we said at the beginning of our conversation, 364 days in a year. I booked well over that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In shows, and you multiply that by 3 or 4 bands a night. So you need to sit back and think about, in the 4 years I was there, how many bands I really worked with.
Yeah. Well, no wonder everybody knows you, because everybody was in a band at one point, and everybody played there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was cool. I mean, and the book will come out. I swear it's going to come out. I'm looking for a printer. It's inexpensive because right now it's not very expensive, not very cheap to do.
No, absolutely no. You got to get your firm together.
I'm trying to get this together. If anybody has an idea, contact K-Man and let me know.
That's at kmandon'tknowshit.com. Which isn't up yet, so don't even bother going to look. I mean, we don't have it all together yet. I mean, this lamppost is your microphone stand.
Nice
lamppost. It's DIY.
It's a nice lamppost.
I am. But I'm really psyched to see this book. I really am. Are you going to have friends and staff and people that hung out in it? Or just shows?
I got a lot of pictures already in the book. A fair amount of pictures of staff members and stuff. I didn't ask anybody's permission, by the way. So if you're going to sue me, sue me. I don't care.
Bleed that rock.
Bleed that rock, because it's already empty. I'm sorry to tell you. We had one guy try to sue me, and he became a famous comic guy. And
comedians are so serious.
no, I'm talking about drawing comment.
Right.
And, that's right now. There's a problem with that before the
Yeah.
book's even open. So there you go.
No, I got you. Well, I mean,
But the book is gonna happen. I swear it's gonna happen.
yeah.
You know.
Well, they always say, to make project happen, first thing you gotta do is say you want to do it.
Oh, I
right?
want to do
Step
it.
one.
Yeah, I want to do it. I just want to finish it and move on with my life.
I just had flashbacks of all the shows, just like sitting down with
Do you
you.
remember any show?
I remember a couple of events. I remember a band called the Subum Lots, who had a backpack with beer in it, I think, with funnels, and they used to have this song called "Drunk on the Autobahn." And I remember that, because all I remember is, you drive faster, 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 faster. That's all I remember about that show. But yeah, there was all, I remember the Bloody Gashes.
Oh, I remember the Bloody
Oh,
Gashes.
yeah, man.
I still have the album from then, yeah.
And you know what?
They're wild.
They sounded good, though. They really did. I love it. But, just so much great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like for me, like, we try to put on good shows there. I tried, anyway. I worked my ass off.
Yeah. I remember when Dave Cooper was babysitting Wesley Willis at the jailhouse. And Wesley Willis, for those who don't know, just Google Wesley Willis. It's worth it. Absolutely, what a character. But he had mental health issues every once in a while, so he always needed a minder. And Dave Cooper, who was on episode 1 of the podcast, was his minder for that day. And I just basically remember the whole vibe. Not sure how it's going to go, because he liked to give headbutts to people. And he had this giant head, man. But then it became, that was his symbol of love. You just get all these little stories all through it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of small stories I can't remember.
Right?
There's a photo of Wesley Willis in the book.
Oh, really? Yeah?
With Mike Babbins from the
Mike.
Vitons, Reginald Croutons.
Yeah. Who didn't want to go to Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that their big song?
Yeah, I don't want to go to Toronto, because everyone's leaving town because there's no money in Quebec, yeah.
Right, that's it. Now they can't afford anything in Toronto either, right? So
They all live in Vancouver now, so it's okay. I can't afford nothing. Not even a cheeseburger.
Well, it's funny, you're talking about different places in Canada, and I know very well, like I want to talk also, okay, that was a big chapter in your life. It really was, like what happened with the jailhouse and all that kind of thing, and all the action. And let's say it was just such a community thing, and I even feel sometimes in that day, maybe it's still the same, maybe it's not, but you had the bar staff from a different bar, let's say the Biff Tech or Miami, or if you're Saint Laurent, everybody knew everybody and would hang out at each other's places, and
While I was there, I tried to make a community of everybody. I picked people to come and be with us. And the negatives and the bad things I got rid of.
Yeah.
And I tried to make a family, a community. And it became that. We had people from everywhere coming in.
Yeah.
We had people,
Do you get it now? Like if you walk down Saint Laurent Street now, are you still walking down and saying, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?"
Almost everywhere I go in Montreal, I'm pretty well known by somebody somewhere.
Yeah, and for the right reasons. I mean, I think any community, basically, and not just in music, but I mean, when I say community, I don't just mean location, but in what you do in the community. But I think it always takes key people. To make shit happen, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I used to make shit happen quite often. It was huge. It was amazing. It was
and you also had probably the most famous dog in Montreal at that point. I'd like to say cheers to Rudolph, the Wonder Dog. Yeah, man.
I miss that dog very much.
Oh, I'm sure. Everybody loved that dog. He just, I'd bring a bottle cap to everybody, right? And he'd just play with bottle caps all night long, and I love that dog so much.
Yeah, he was my only real salvation, I think, at one point. Except for all the ex-girlfriends I have too. But that's another story altogether.
I hear you.
But yeah, he was a good dog.
After the jailhouse closed down, and you kind of, have to redefine yourself or refine yourself. I guess at that point I started seeing all these pictures of you all over, not just Montreal now at this point. We're talking in Europe, in the States, moving around.
Yeah.
How do you get involved with all these productions? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me where I'm wrong, okay? I didn't say when I'm wrong, but where I'm wrong. you did burlesque tours.
I created my own stage management company.
Okay.
I'm very good at what I do. I made bands that no one knew somewhat famous. I had all the marketing skills I can do to make things work for myself. After a long depression, after losing Rudolph, losing the Jailhouse Rock, and everything else I had going for myself, it took me a while to get out of it. I started doing burlesque shows in Montreal called Diary of a Lost Circus. It was a very good decision for me.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to create shows again. And they were working. They were selling out. Phenomenally selling out. It was great. I was partnered with a lady, and Jen, I think her name was at the time. She is, I don't know what she is. But we just made a bunch of shows, and it worked. And then while I was doing these shows, I was learning how to be a technician, how to plug in microphones and stuff. I was doing some really shit jobs. I was also postering for Greenland.
Back when we put posters everywhere.
We used to put posters on walls everywhere. And I was that man with a can of muck putting up the. I made a fortune postering.
Really?
Yeah. I was doing it so often. The police were even stopping me saying, "Dom, you gotta stop." Okay.
Well, it's funny to talk about the legalities of postering. That was a war for a while. There was so much, bands covering other people's posters, or then the cool people in the know that would actually check the dates of the posters to cover an old one. Okay, that would pass. But I learned one valuable lesson during that whole period of time, because we used to poster like maniacs. We'd go out at like 10 at night till 4 or 5 in the morning, put up 700 posters in one go and stuff like this. But never put a poster over a political sign. They don't like that. And they will take you to court, those bastards. They don't believe in rock and roll. If any political parties out there don't believe in rock and roll, don't vote for them.
And that's all of them. They don't care about you. They really don't.
God damn. There goes all my dreams.
Yeah.
Please care about me.
Yeah, I mean, Publicité Sauvage was doing a lot of posters, and they were covering up all our stuff. So one day I went to their office and I had a meeting and a couple of beers with the boss. And after the meeting, we made a deal, and they were putting up my posters.
That's the way to do it. And you got a cut from that.
I didn't pay him a cent.
No, but did they pay you a cent?
But I paid the people who were doing it.
There you go. That's perfect, man. Everybody's winning.
It was awesome. Good move.
So you got into burlesque. How does somebody get into burlesque? Of course, a good way to do it is, like you said, is by start your own shows and stuff. But like, what got you interested in burlesque?
Well, burlesque is a very sensitive and very, very meticulous position to be in. And even though they're naked on stage, they're very sensitive backstage.
Yeah.
And you have to have a good well-being of who they are backstage. And respect of who they are.
Would you say that Montreal is known for a burlesque scene?
No, Montreal is probably one of the worst cities in the whole country for burlesque. I think Toronto's doing better.
Really, huh?
I think Vancouver does way better. They have larger productions, a lot more regular. Montreal has that same old dark shadow amongst itself. It's like if somebody goes forward, everyone else just cuts them at the knee type thing.
Right.
Sorry to say.
Well, I guess the message out there is that people, got to make something happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can make something happen, but I mean, you're talking to a guy who's been around the block a couple of times and seen things come and go. And, we have a beautiful festival called the Montreal Burlesque Festival. It's phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to it in 2 weeks, actually.
Are you involved in it?
I'm their stage manager, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a great festival, but there's nobody local performing on it, which is too bad.
That is too bad. But don't we have, I know coming up on the podcast, I'm having Jackie Sugar Vixen. Do you know Jackie?
Yeah, I know Sugar Vixen.
Yeah, she's awesome. Love that girl. And she's going to be, I can't wait to get her on the podcast as well. And we're going to talk all burlesque, But I'm surprised. In my head, I thought it was big in Montreal, honestly.
Well, the Wiggle Room does a regular show. And there's maybe 25 performers.
Wow.
But it's not as strong as I want it to be.
Okay.
There's way too much fighting and bickering amongst themselves.
Right. So everybody's just getting bitchy, eh? He didn't say it, I did.
I mean, how can I say that's my tassel? No, that's my tassel.
Right,
no, that's my
right.
tassel. And
Got tassels for everybody.
people are tassel fighting everywhere. I mean,
so if I go to a show, I should just show up with a bucket full of tassels. Or
I
what?
know, and just launch them into the crowd.
Exactly.
You'd be all right. You know?
Yeah, man. But were you like involved just like in the organization of the burlesque shows and like the production of it, or were you like performing as well?
Oh my God! I used to perform at Diary Law Circus.
Really?
I used to strip at Diary Law Circus. It was great. Great.
I just learned something new.
Yeah, look at that.
God damn!
There's a picture on my Facebook somewhere if you look at it. Hard enough.
I should have went through your whole thing before you got here.
It was Law Circus is total fun. We were creating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have Elsa Bangs and Castelli doing stuff.
What about Bombay?
Bon wasn't even existing at that time.
Oh no, eh?
No, man.
Oh, this is going back.
No, this is going back before anybody was performing.
Shout out to Bon Bon.
What's up, Bon Bon?
Yeah.
This is going on. This is going back before Bon Bon, before anybody. I mean, we've done it. Like, these names do not exist no more, except Mia LaFleur from Toronto still exists. You know, and it was. I think it was I don't know what the year it was. I can't remember. It was in the thousands, but it was great. I had a fucking marching band. I had a fucking marching band in my show, man.
You win.
At the Cafe Campus.
Really?
And a Bloodshot Bill was playing to Sugar Puss. Remember Sugar Puss?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sugar Puss was one of the greatest artists in performance of burlesque in the entire world. And, you know, she just got tired of all the bullshit in Montreal as well, and she left.
Oh, yeah, she jetted.
She was a performer. She was a rock and roll queen. She was amazing.
Wow.
Oh, she was great. Sugar Puss and Castelli, those people knew what's going on.
There's something about burlesque and rock and roll that just goes so well together. You know, I don't know how it happened that way, but burlesque's, in my opinion anyway, it's very rock and roll.
Well, if you dance to it, and you shimmy to it, and you shake to it, and you can do that beautiful 4 count really well, everyone's going to dance.
Right,
you know?
right.
Whether you're clothed or not, you're going to move.
I remember on our last tour, I was in Winnipeg, and we're hanging out, having beers with our Winnipeg friends, and one of our friends is a lady named Lucy. And Lucy said, next time you're in town, she wants to gather all the ladies and do a show, but including burlesque as well. And I mean, basically, I'm for anything that sounds like a good time, and it does sound like a good time, you know. But
if you want, I mean, anyone can dance to burlesque. There's no set rules. The thing about burlesque is it's creative indifference. You create your own show.
right.
However, today there's people making rules that don't exist, but it's all about being self-creativity. Back in the day, historically speaking, burlesque was people going on stage trying to entertain to make a buck. It was a serious business. Before TV, before iPhones, and all that kind of crap.
Right, right.
And today, it's entertainment. I mean, anybody, you can hula hoop, you can skip rope, you can... one of my acts was taking off my robe with a flashlight. It was not hard. You just dance to the groove, baby, and you make it work. And anybody, you yourself can even be a dancer if you want, man.
I'm probably a little too hairy to be burlesque, you know?
you gotta free yourself from all those restrictions and be a real person underneath that jacket you wear. Because I did it. I used to do a uniform act years ago. I was terrified.
I love the way you dove deep on this, because now you're talking like the psychology and what it can actually do for the performer. It's
good for the soul, man, when you perform. And you know that because you're a performer.
Absolutely.
You know, and every time you go up there, all you can see is how am I going to feel when I'm done. You know, and I'm up there, I was scared shitless. And I did my little act, moved my little ass a few times, and it was great fun. People loved it. You know, they clapped their hands. And when I was playing with Bloodshot Bill, when I was a drummer for Bloodshot Bill.
That's right. Yeah, you were the hubcap. I love it.
You get so mad at me. Bill, I know you're listening. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you the truth. I did not know how to play drums when we did our first show together. And I learned how to play drums during the show.
That's fantastic.
And we made 3 records together, and I don't care what you all think. It was fucking awesome.
It was rock and roll, man.
It was rock and roll, and that's what you're doing up there, man. You can... Sorry.
So, Bill, he apologized formally, you know, right in. Miss you too, brother. Gotta get you. I should have you with him up here. That would be fucking awesome.
He's a good old friend of mine, man.
Yeah, I love him. I love
that guy. He's a solid. All through the years, has been solid.
I remember before one of his shows, I gotta admit, you know how you're talking about the bands going across the street drinking before coming to the jailhouse? Okay, I got an apology due. We emptied a case of beer so fast in the park right across the street there before I get in there too.
I fucking know.
Oh, boom.
I walk out, I go, oh, there they are.
Well, you couldn't walk into the jailhouse
To
sober.
the empty venue.
You had to get your wits about you back in
know,
the day.
bro.
That's it. Eh?
I see all you fuckers in your vans. Where's the band? Out back.
Right.
Cancel the show. All right.
So with burlesque, though, you got into traveling as well, right? Didn't you guys move around with the production?
I got a job working a cruise ship for 2 years.
How the hell did you get plugged into a cruise
I
ship?
am good at what I do.
Yeah, man.
It was cold. It was January 15th was the day. I was supposed to work the Rolling Stone show, and I got 2 tickets from my boss to tell my mom, hey mom, guess what? I'm leaving for 9 months at the Rolling Stone show. And I jumped on a cruise ship for actually 2 years solid.
That's wild, man. I don't know if I could do that.
Best decision of my life. One of the many decisions.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
But see, this is one of the things I love about you, is that you seem to have all these different chapters and adventures and goals that you want to go after. And you just go all in on it, you know, and it inspires me. It really does, and you've always inspired me in that sense.
I hope it does, because life is way too short.
Yeah, man.
You got to keep plugging away. I will. I'm gonna do this until I die. You know.
What did you think about working on a ship? Like, what did you do? Tell me about this. I need to know.
I was a stage tech. I was an acrobat rigger. So that means before I left the ship, I was in control of all the riggers that are flying in the air, all the acrobats flying in the air.
When you say rigger, it's not like, I know what it is, but I'm not sure if everybody is. What's a rigger?
Okay, well, this is an automation where you're in charge of the artists who fly in the air, and they go up and down, left and right. I had the control of that. I had about maybe... So when you see 6 artists fly in one direction, I'm the one in charge of those guys flying. I'm the motor control. When you have a train set, you have the guy running the train set. That's me, but with humans.
I bet you those people wanted a really good relationship with you. Like, there has to be some trust involved in here.
Let me tell you. It was an adventure, I tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
That was good. It was a good adventure.
So, if you're like, what, you do 9 months at a time?
Yeah.
At a shot. So basically, you can travel a lot in 9 months. Where did this go? Where did this take you?
We were in Miami, the Caribbean. I was in the Caribbean every weekend for like about 2 months. Then we floated, sailed across the sea. I sailed the seas 3 times, from Miami to Cove Island, and a town in England, which I forgot the name of for some reason. It was in England where they had the first Spitfires factories made back in the day.
And you being, which we will get to, it's on my list things I want to check in. We're going to get into aviation in a bit as well. Yeah. Because I love the fact that Don does not remember the name of the town, but he can tell you the Spitfires are coming from there.
Yeah. The Spitfires came from that town. Because, you know, we have books, history books I used to read in libraries. And there's a church that was there. A spire was there. And the Germans used to use that church as a bombing point. So, there's a church.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane. And there I am, walking right next to the church, walking right next to the airplanes. It's great. Love life.
That's
beautiful.
wild, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
So it was going everywhere on a boat. Did you have time to actually
Italy?
stop in?
Italy, Spain,
Really?
France.
I've always wanted to go to Italy. I never did. Not yet, anyway. I will.
You got to get on that boat, man.
Yeah, man.
I was in Naples and Rome and all those other places. It was great. It was. I was like, every day I woke up. Where am I now? I don't know. I'm gonna go. Gone.
See, I know one thing about you. It's that you are into history.
Yeah.
And you know, the amazing places around the world and the story behind them and all this kind of thing. Did you like chase out locations? Like, did you have time to? Yeah.
Yeah. There's one place when I was in the circus.
He was in a circus as well.
I hope you guys got time. I can talk about this shit all the time. I mean, it's like I was in a circus in Hong Kong. There was a battle of the Canadian soldiers the Second World War did, where the English government, as usual, left the Canadian soldiers to fodder, and they left them to Hong Kong, which they had broken weapons and stuff. But there was a bunker that the Canadians fought the Japanese against. And they kept fighting, and they're the last English or Canadian stand in Hong Kong before it was surrendered. And the bunker's there to this day. I went to the bunkers on top of a hill, behind a gas station, mind you. And the only thing that lets you know where you're really at is like a little plaque. This is the battle the Canadians fought, and literally you can see where, picture it, how the Japanese came across the road and they're in a bunker, and this is a.
That must have some heavy vibes around there, man. Shit.
Yeah, it did. It did. I was able to go to Vimy Ridge, and I did a really shitty tour with the circus called Seven Fingers or something 2 years ago, and I was fortunate to understand the history around me. At Douai, France, for example, do you know what the Red Baron is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the Red Baron used to fly out of Douai, and that was my first stop for the circus. So I go and hang out in Douai, and then I go to a bookstore. No, book sale.
Book sale. Yeah, okay.
And then I hear someone going, Monsieur Maire, Monsieur Maire. And I see this dude. So I look at him, I go, I bet he knows. Are you the mayor of Douai? He goes, yes, I am. I'm Dominic. I'm from Canada.
That's why I love you. I love you, man.
Is it true? Is it true the Red Baron used to fly here? Well, I'm not sure there, Dominic, but let me show you something. Takes me to a chamber of where these dudes hang out, the politicians. And there's a fucking picture of the Red Baron in the office, in the chamber.
Well, so
and a couple of German shoulders.
That's
so
amazing.
I found out that the airport that Red Baron lived in is now a truck stop, a truck thing. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. I was there.
Okay, since you like airplanes so damn much, doesn't the Red Baron's this is where I'm gonna see if I have any memory at all. The Red Baron's airplane, 3 wings, right? Yes. And what do you call that?
I think it's a Sopwith. I think.
Okay.
The thing about the 3-wing airplane is that it's the only airplane can turn on a dime.
Okay.
The other ones that I don't remember what they're called now for some reason. Avros, I think they're called. They would have to glide to the left, but the Red Baron's little Sopwith camels would turn.
Right.
Now, if you want to know how that turned out, you go down to Rhinebeck Aerodrome in New York State, and they have an airplane flying like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever get into something like that?
No, I didn't get to fly one, but I kissed it. I love you.
Right on. Right on.
Big airplane geek, man. It's awesome stuff.
Out of all the places that you got to stop on these boat cruises, was okay, you're talking about the Caribbean. I love the Caribbean. Absolutely. You must have hit some pretty cool locations down there.
In in Jamaica and shit.
Oh, you went to Jamaica?
Yeah, I was in Jamaica for Falmouth, Jamaica. I have, historically speaking, it's now a cruise ship place, but Falmouth, Jamaica is where the stop was the slaves were dropped off back in the day. And if I went there before they started deconstructing everything, the slave huts were still there. You can smell the stank of death that was in those rooms. It's awful. Because me being an explorer, I look at shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Falmouth is now it's all bought by cruise line, but that's a pretty sketchy place to be in, man.
They definitely have their problems.
I would be careful in Jamaica.
Yeah, no, they got their problems, like a lot of places in the world. But I mean, you're talking about Jamaica and history and all this. I always like that in a lot of reggae songs. They would talk about know your history to be able to move forward.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is something that you do. I mean, you know the history about where you're going, what happened there, why it's different, or what the background is, at the place you're visiting. And I admire that. Like, it always baffles me, people that just kind of blindly wander around without knowing, what went on the soil you're walking on.
That blows my mind away, because I'm telling people stories and they're going, yes, so what?
Right.
And all they care about is what kind of beer they're going to get. It's fucked up, man.
But can't they care about the beer they're going to get for, 3 seconds and then care about this as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was fortunate when I was on ships, or, I was in the circuses, for example. I was the only person that knew what's going on around me. Like when I was in Korea, there's so much history to read about Korea.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, that's a whole chapter.
I wish I knew more about it, to tell you the truth. I'm not really up to date on what's going on in Korea. I know they had the Korean War. I know that. I know there's North and South. But honestly, a lot of people talk like they know a lot. I don't know shit about it. Like really, I really don't. You know, and it kind of baffles me. Like like I surprise myself in my own ignorance sometimes. How I can, look at a Facebook feed. Oh, Kim Jong is this? Okay, read the head. People that read headlines all the time now without actually knowing the story.
Well, they make an assumption without knowing the real story,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because when I got to Korea, the actual only battle or fight they had was maybe 40 years ago when 4 guys tried to cross in and shoot the president. That was 40 years ago.
Well, that'll get you shot usually, no matter where you are.
I mean, fair enough. 60 years ago during the Second World War, they did come over and take over Korea.
Well, I'm not saying there's not reasons to want to do something like that.
I get it.
Somewhere, but it's still a good way to get shot.
Yeah, it's a good way to get shot for sure. I mean, you have to go to the cities and check it out, see the vibe is.
Yeah.
Like, I went there, like, I'm going to Korea, like, all my guys in the circus, they just drank their faces off, most of them, and I just kept on exploring.
Amazing.
I got a bus pass, and I went around in the circle. I literally ran around in the circle, like, where do I go now? I don't know.
What a great way to see the world, though. I mean, like, a lot of people can't afford traveling, like, as a rich person type travel. But, I mean, there's certain jobs. I was talking to my daughter about this. Like, what are you going to, the typical, what are you going to do when you're older and all this kind of thing. And I asked her if she ever considered or thought about being a flight attendant. Because maybe she would want to see the world, but might not have enough money to be able to do it as a vacation. But there are certain jobs that allow you to see all kinds of parts of the world.
Well, she can also be a pilot because there's a lot of good programs now in Montreal that provide good flight schools for young people.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, Laurentide Aviation has a school. I know these things, eh?
Yeah,
has
man.
a school that will give the kids, young people of legal age, the right to fly at 737. They go to school, they get sponsored by Air Canada, and they fly. And it costs you, but I don't know how much it'll cost, but...
What got you into flying?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. I mean, son of a bitch, man. You're going to work I worked in a factory when I first started my independence, and that's like a prison.
Yeah.
And that's all I have left. And then flying, well, like when I was a kid, I saw airplanes. That feels pretty good. And I kept on seeing more airplanes. That still feels pretty good. And I got in one. That feels pretty good. Then I started flying one. That feels pretty terrifying. Then I flew it again, and that's really good. It's like it's like a high.
You have a pilot's license?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a pilot's license that's now out of date, officially.
Don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
Well, I'll tell the truth. I've invested 15 grand on my own money, and I worked at shows for Evenco to pay it off, and it was another good thing I did for myself. I did 120 hours flying.
Oh wow! Always the same airplane, or?
It's Cessna 172.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-passenger.
Oh wow!
And when I got my license, I used to bring up people all over the place for free.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
What was it? Your plane though, or is it like how does it work? You get involved with an airplane club, and somebody says you can rent this plane.
Yeah,
how does this work?
You can share the airplane, or I just rented it out at the time. I didn't get into flying that much after that because I went on tour.
Yeah.
And but you can share. Yeah, one guy was considering me taking over for his banner projects. I mean, you find your way around.
Being one of those guys that flies like a banner around the city survey seas?
Yeah, he was my old flight instructor, actually.
Oh, shit.
He offered me the job once, and I was like, I need another 75 hours. 75 hours translates $250 an hour.
Oh, man. Yeah.
175, figure that out.
So flying ain't for the poor.
It may not have been then, but times have changed.
Yeah.
People need to get places faster than ever, and businesses are realizing they need pilots. I mean, if you're young, now's a good time to be a pilot if you really want to be, because it's there and available.
Yeah.
When we were young, it wasn't.
It's funny when I was talking with a friend of mine. Like I'm afraid of heights, and I say I'm afraid, but I do all this crazy shit anyway. But helicopters. Ever been in a helicopter?
I was in when I was in reserves, I was in a Army helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sitting on the side with my machine gun.
Helicopters make no sense to me at all. I've never been in one. I don't really want to be in one. An airplane I can understand. I can't understand a helicopter. It just doesn't work for me. This old
You'd be surprised. I never really looked much into a helicopter.
No, really.
I go. They go up. They go down. That's cool. Vietnam. All right.
And when it goes down, you want to go down slowly, and that's it. Right?
That's it. Because I know an airplane, my engine dies, I just glide. A helicopter dies, it dies. You know?
So you've done tours as a drummer, as a performer, as a production company in burlesque.
Mm-hmm.
Have you do you miss it? Do you miss going on tour, or do you have another tour on it, like in the back burner here?
Well, the Ballet Jazz Canada, or Montreal, the Ballet Jazz Montreal hired me on as their head carpenter. And I just finished being the carpenter for Corey Hart.
What?
Yeah, I did it. It was 3 weeks.
Like you're talking, I wear my sunglasses at night, Corey Hart.
I was like about a month
Canadian
ago.
musician.
That picture that's on Facebook, that's me. That's me waiting for the show to finish. That's Corey Hart show.
That's
Big
crazy.
blue thing there, yeah.
Okay, I have to confess.
You don't know what Corey Hart looks like?
No, I do. I was 14 years old in Ottawa at the Civic Center going, I wear my sunglasses at night. I was at that show. But I mean, in that period of time, my dad worked as an electrician at all the shows at the Civic Center. So I got to see all these Duran Duran, A Flock of Seagulls, all that like era. I saw them all, man.
Pretty badass, man.
It is. Looking
Pretty
back,
cool.
more now looking back than when I was actually living it, though. It's kind of weird. Like the Thompson twins.
Hold me now.
Oh, that was it. I was going to say, I ran. I can't remember who did that one.
I think it was Duran Duran, and I ran.
No, it wasn't Duran Duran.
Far away.
But I saw them, whoever that was. Anybody know who did that song? I ran. But Martha and the Muffins, Katrina, and that whole era, I saw all those shows, man.
Dude, that's badass, man.
But it was actually, it gave, along the way, I mean, I grew up with a lot of musicians, so I had that direct influence. But going to all those shows and just seeing everybody's reactions to all those shows, I think is also one of my inspirations that I kind of forget about sometimes. But I mean, I was always in these crowds, and you go, these people save up all the money they have to be able to go to these shows, and so they go all in, and the reaction of like just enjoy, every ounce of their body is enjoying this moment in this show. And I'm sure, like, just riding that wave of energy along the way is probably one of the things that made me want to do this as well, and be able to have people keep riding these types of energies. I mean, it's just so powerful. I love it so much, and I will for the rest of my life. I like it's just it lights that fire. But I was super lucky with that. But I mean, Corey Hart, he literally is one of the top tier Canadian performers historically.
Oh, yeah,
that's a pretty big production.
Yeah, I was pretty honored to be part of that show. I was pretty good. I met some good people on that tour too. It was good fun.
Yeah.
They give me a bottle of wine at the end of the night, and I would sit there and drink it in the tour bus.
Every night?
Every night.
Perfect.
Awesome. Me and Hervé, good buddy of mine. Yeah. And Corey's cool. He only called me buddy for the first 2 weeks, and the last week he called me Dom.
It's funny. You know how like everybody's like, hey pal, buddy, chum. I never liked being called buddy. I don't know why.
I hate being called buddy.
It's just, it does not sit with me, because I always found it's one of those ones that's a bit like, yeah, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really straight on the level when you say buddy.
It's like you're trying to pretend that, or bro, don't call me bro.
Right. What was that old South Park? I ain't your friend, guy. I ain't your guy, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love that bit. Man. But I mean, like, relationships.
I don't want to talk about relationships whatsoever.
I'm not talking love relationships.
Thank you very much.
It always comes with the smooth and the crunchy, But the relationships to people, that's like when I think of you, you're somebody that has all these lines of communication with so many different types of people in different cities, whether it's, through booking, whether it's through shows, whether it's through touring everywhere, being on a boat and stopping in all these places. I'm sure if you show up in a small town for 3 days and then leave, they're missing you. And the town's talking about you. That's right. Man, you used to be the mayor of, like, maybe a street corner.
That's good enough.
Yeah, but you don't want any more than that. You just have more shit to deal with anyway, right?
No, I mean, I would love to have another community like the Jailhouse Rock. I would honestly love to rebuild that, but with my own words, my own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking for years where to start, where to rebuild.
And
tough.
any ideas spark up?
No.
Nope, nothing.
I would love to rebuild it, redo it. Like, I don't want to say rebuild because I want to build it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have that little coffee shop or that little venue. You know, the old people like you and I, well, me. You know,
well, we all getting up there, man.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Time's running out. I'll tell you that much. But I would like to see that happen and maybe make it so people can benefit for the rest of their lives and keep on playing music. And, you know, when you first came up to the Jailhouse Rock and with your eyes all like, what do I do? And who's this fucking asshole?
Right?
You know, like, I don't know. You know, I had the same thing when I first went there. But and then seeing you flourish, you know, as K-Man in the 45s and you're touring and you got your van and things are happening for you. It makes my purpose in life worth it.
Yeah. Well, you know, you said a coffee shop. I could so see you retiring into running a coffee shop. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you're a community guy. Yeah, you really are. And any community would be lucky to have you, you know, running a central point.
I would like to retire in a community. I'm good to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm like...
City or country?
Either one.
Yeah, there you go. Open to it all, right?
Yeah, I'm open to it all because I know time is running out for me.
I am.
And it's as much as I want to keep it going, I know it's time to change.
You know, men's health. I think at some point I'm gonna have a doctor on the podcast, and I want all my buds to like write in all the questions that they don't ask doctors. You know, especially as you're aging type thing. I'm actually really looking forward to that podcast as well. It's Dr. Eddie Sanchini is gonna be on the show. And
cool.
I'm already every moment I hear a thing. Sometimes I'm listing down questions for the doctor, you know. But because like men's health, I don't know if there's enough talk about it. To tell the truth, it seems to me like it's always like crisis happens and then you kind of deal with it, you know, as opposed to like, you know, knowing this might happen or you know I'm getting older. What do I do to not have the crisis, you know?
You brush your teeth.
Proper dental hygiene.
That's one of the most important things I can tell anybody for my old age. Brush your fucking teeth.
Hear that, kids? Brush your teeth.
Lazy bastards, brush your teeth. Because when they fall off, they don't come back.
Yeah, man. Hey, Dom.
Yo.
Thanks so much for coming by today. It's a real pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Always, my brother. So, what's next for you? What's next for Dom Castelli? Talk to me, brother.
I'm thinking about motorcycles quite a bit these days.
Yeah, what you rode out like right now? We're October 7th. It's cold as shit. It just finished raining, and here you are. You pull up in your motorcycle.
It's beautiful, man. It's nice. It's nice. I like to start riding a lot more countryside, outdoor countryside. I didn't do much this year because I was managing too many shows, but maybe next year I'll start. I'm thinking about Scotland. Actually, I'm thinking about anywhere on a motorcycle. Yeah. So I'm trying to calculate the money I have and calculate the money I can afford to spend on it.
Yeah. But what a great way to see the sights, though, right?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, for me, it clears my head. Mm-hmm. I mean, I stop thinking about stupid things. Yeah. You know, and so I just keep on living happily that way. Music-wise, I play piano quite often, and I've been asked to make a whole set of music.
I would love to hear that.
Many people. And I've made about 4 or 5 songs on my own. I think I should learn a few songs. Yeah. I think Cooper wants to help me out with that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, that definitely challenges, right?
Yeah. I was playing piano in Newfoundland. That was really nice. It was good to play in the old pub there. Wow. People were singing, making up words. It's hilarious.
That's the beauty of that type of stuff, man. One instrument, even all by itself, just bringing people together and sharing a moment.
Well, it comes down to it again there, I came in, like, it's all about community, people, friends. We're all going to start dying soon, just to let you know.
Yeah, man.
So, it's time to kind of...
Listen, on that note, let's go get loaded. Actually, it's funny I say that, but we're actually being sober. Everybody in my band, well, almost everybody in our band, because, like, we've been on the road so much and get absolutely fucking wacky, right? You know, and we're like, oh, let's check ourselves for a moment. But, man... It's great to see you, and seriously, I know you have the book project that's going to happen, so keep your eyes open, the Jailhouse Rock. Is it cafe or is it just Jailhouse Rock?
Jailhouse Rock Cafe, I think.
Yeah, right. That's the legal name. Yeah. So you got that book coming out. Here you are planning all these trips.
I'm organizing shows, planning trips. If anybody wants to ride a motorcycle with me, you can always contact me.
Yeah, man.
K-Man. I know there's a lot of adventures coming my way next year. I'm going to be traveling with the Ballet Jazz Montreal. I mean, I sound tired today because I am. But, you know, for me, I'm just going to keep on living, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking stunning out there and it's beautiful. And I'm going to take every drop I can get.
Right on, brother.
Yo,
Don't ever
man.
change. Love you.
You're the best, man.
Yeah, man. Boom! K-Man don't know shit.